wow, these chapters of Fairy Tail have been quite amazing. He's like, Mashima just took advice from Kubo, I guess, on how to make seemingly the most useless character out of the main characters possible, and turning them into like, I don't even know. First it was Rukia, and when I first read those pretty much chapters in the year, Bleach chapters 567 to 571, the entire Bleach Rukia versus Aslan fight. That's definitely like my moment of the year. And if I do another anime here, you can sure squeeze there, you can quote me on that. But these last like 3 chapters, especially 2 just came out now with special. I'll say it again if I said it before. Hiro Mashima is a working beast, man. He just scribbles out all this stuff so quickly. Like, yeah, back in July we had 3 chapters every 2 weeks. I'm like, this is that 6 chapters. It's like 120 pages a week or something. No color stress. And this time he's done like these 2 chapters in a row. That's a special at the same time. And there's a special a couple of weeks ago. Like last chapter in fact, the whole Julia thing. But actually, by Julia, I mean Wendy. I'm sorry, Wendy. I'm like, initially when this happened, I'm like, why send of all the people who could do this mission? Why send the most inexperienced and youngest member of Fairy Tail we know of? And you sent 12-year-old girl to be their savior and take out the face. I'm like, what? Take out super weapons, something on the same level as Ethereum can? And then all of a sudden Ezo shows up and it's like, damn, she has no chance fighting this guy. And she tried to put her best effort. And even that one, she gave it all the arms, armor, very all that stuff, speed boost. And she could even hurt him with full direct on board. And like Charles said, definitely, but I know she's not gonna die. If the cat's gonna die, we know it's gonna be happy or mentally. And Happy's ready to put his Tristan in. He's in danger, like the whole jackal, and he put the pill on us. This was a nuclear explosion. But still, that going back to it, it made perfect sense on when he was able to actually absorb the air, like the air around his face had always ether or whatever energy. I think leave ether nano Fairy Tail, and it's everywhere in the air. She absorbs it, she unlocks it from Dragon Force. It's like, oh my god. And it's clearly some Madaka box going on here right now. I mean, first the blue here, then turns pink. I see the clip to them, oh, Madaka. And that was just an amazing moment. And then we actually start fighting. She starts pulling like these mock flash stuff. Like, what is this? That's like he can't keep up with her anymore. And then she starts wrapping all this air around him. And this is by far the most amount of power she's ever put over, as it should be, because this is Dragon Force. And she started wrapping mutual tornadoes around him. And he's concluding that he's to win. I don't even know, he's like demon cursed blades playing to win. That just sounds amazing. And then she goes even further and just draws out more energy. And he still can't even cut it anymore. And then she sends a gigantic tidal wave of a tidal wave of wind at him. And it hits him so powerful, and it goes into face and completely destroys it. And he's not weak. It took 2 attacks like this in order to defeat him. I do this, she flashed it around him, but it was just my attacks with how like, experienced she is. It was a Dragon Force and against the general. She's by far the most experienced of anyone. Natsu, Gajio, Cobra, Laxus, and the rest of them singing role. She's the well. Yeah, I guess she is the weak and the most experienced at the same time. Unfortunate for her. But she's finally able on her Dragon Force. And bring up the question, I was wondering, the guy of Dragon Force as well, we see Mount Dragon Force back and top of it, and we see her. But I'm wondering, he had something on his bike. I could say his Dragon Force and where he see Dragon Force on his bike, because that by definition is what Dragon Force is, and so he's the best Dragon Force of all of them, at least when it comes to complete it, because there's entire body go complete mode, while something like Natsu breaks under his eyes, and Wendy, I don't recall seeing any cells on her hair turning blue, but I don't, barely 1 or 2 cells in there, not much. But when she first attack, which was, I can't remember like first break, but like the side drill, and she hit him directly with huge flash of wind energy, and he just takes it, he tanked it, and he came back for more. He transformed, and then she was on the defensive for a moment, but then she unleashed the second one, and I already said she destroyed the face completely, and that was an amazing moment. But of course, the side effects of that hit her immediately, and she's done. And you think, the problem with that is that she completely destroyed the face. And I think it was fun. I swear, when that thing fell, it actually looked like it was smiling. it kind of creeped me out when I first went, whoa, that thing was like the battle's not over yet. And to an extent, yeah, it was, because it wasn't, because when you look at the actual when Charlotte, and when you look up at the timer, it goes down. It goes like it goes from 3 minutes to 7 seconds, 3 minutes to 6 seconds, all the way down to like 2 minutes to 54 seconds. They keep on falling. And it's like, why hasn't it stopped? And I guess destroying face by itself is not enough. Like, I guess the entire cave counts as like the face, like all the energy and all like the roots it has expanded outwards, which makes sense, I guess. And his face was just the center, like the figurehead of it. I no pun intended. I wasn't trying to do that. Alright, and that puts us going to chapter 378, when we get Charlotte, and she's saying how she looked into multiple futures and saw that there's one in which she can stop Face, and using that knowledge of seeing herself in the future, she knows how to operate Face right now. The thing with that is that they never really like fully expanded into Charlotte's power. Like we see since Elos that she had the power to see the future, and on Tenro Jiba she saw premonitions, Grand Magic Age she had small premonitions, but she couldn't really see anything. But now all of a sudden she's able to see multiple futures and actually like reenact things. That's a huge power leap. I mean, she's gone from like just visions to prophet. That's a huge difference between the two. But it's excusable. It's excusable. The next thing that happens though is that she tells Wendy to run away because she's gonna convert face energy, which is like EMP, and convert that and make it self-destruct into an explosion. So you can turn EMP energy into explosion energy, and she's gonna sacrifice and martyr herself in order to make sure it works. And she wants to get away. Part of that is that Wendy just won't listen to her, and she's gonna keep on like she's just saying we should always be together, we're friends forever. And this is the same lesson that fairy tales always have. I don't know, something about let me deviate for a second. Something about fairy tale, how it literally has two things. It has family and friendship. Though that's all the basic two concepts of fairy tale. Everything in fairy tale revolves around those two lessons. And I don't know, I'm not tired of it. But when it comes to Naruto, it's like if you see my Naruto chapter 670 rant, I'm just so tired of it because they've had this one thing in Naruto and they keep hammering several things, but it all comes around with one basic concept and they hammer it over and over and over again. And like the whole rival between like the whole hard work versus the genius thing, and then there's the whole like the ways to achieve peace and how to use power and all that sorts of stuff. And the whole revenge plots, but it always comes down to like two people fighting. It's like Madara and Hashirama, Naruto and Sasuke, Kakashi and Obito, Rock Lee and Neji, and the list goes on. Third, like the Sarutobi and Danzo, and as of now, Ashura and Indra, and now another incarnate. Screw it. But this lesson, ever since like the Pain arc, has been completely ruined. The theme of Naruto is done. If I'm like addressing how Fornever made his video. But back to the actual chapter. She says we're friends forever. We'll never be separate from each other. We were meant to be together forever to the very end. And it's like even if she wanted to leave, Wendy, she's in no condition to escape the explosion of this size. Even Charlotte says I don't know how big it's gonna be. Excuse me. So there's no point even running anyway. And then she gets up to Charlotte and then she hugs her and she says we just do this together. And then two of them prepare to do it, and we get flashbacks. You see small flashback snippets. I swear in this chapter, Hiromashi was taking jabs, and he took lessons from Kubo and taking jabs at Kishimoto and fucking and Oda at the same time. Because when you're doing it, he does flashback. It's literally like flashback to pounds, flashback to pound. And it's just like that's how flashback's supposed to be done. Like it's supposed to be like that, instantaneous, like something in your mind. It's the memory. It's not going to be entire arcs worth of details, arcs worth of like flashbacks at one time, or interrupting the main flow of the story. Because these flashbacks are fully clear. It goes from the moment that Wendy first met Charlotte, when she opened her egg up, when she hatched from her egg. And that's the thing with the characters in Fairy Tail. Like when they're like babies, not babies, but like little children, like 4 or 5 years old, like Wendy was. It's like their bodies are like so small, but their heads are huge, gigantic. And I swear to God, their faces, like the size of their faces, hasn't changed for Charlotte or Wendy. Their bodies have grown, so it looks more proportioned better now. But they had the same size heads as they did when they were children, like they were 5 when they were 7 years ago. 7 years ago. The whole time skip 11 months. It's technically 14 years ago. Anyways, that's not the point. Same thing also applies to Kagura and Urza. Now I think about it, when we saw their flashback of how how it's conveniently placed that she knew her, she stopped her from becoming a slave, retired from having all that stuff like that. She came from the same village, happy to be there. I don't know. Again, that's another thing Masha might get away with. I just love fairy tales to the point where it doesn't affect me any sort of like Witch King Lightning. But nah, I'm not gonna get into that. Alright, back to my point. That's the flashbacks, and it keeps on going throughout how like them two knew each other, like this moments of their lives. And it comes back to present time, and then Wendy says something along the lines of, She said, "Can we be friends again?" So like in the afterlife, and then Char's like, "Yes, we'll always be friends." And then they both push the button, and this explosion, like, keep in mind they were in an underground tunnel. This thing, and the tunnel was deep. If you look back like 3-4 chapters ago when they first arrived, this thing is like maybe 2 miles underground, somewhere around that. And it's like, yo, from all the way down there, the explosion hit, and it's still able to look this gigantic. We're talking about like maybe a dangerous size explosion, like 5 to 10 kilometers. And I'm like, yo, that's way too much power. Like from miles away, the wind force is so strong. The trees are bending over, the entire plateaus are coming down, and there. Like I thought this really could have been the end of Wendy and Charlotte, because the way it was set up, like there's no plot protection. They're really going to die this time. And then this is how Vashi was taking jabs at Oda now. First, I heard Kishimoto about the flashbacks, but Oda is like, yeah, in One Piece, tell he took that explosion, just yeah, flew up a face, point blank, took it. In this case, John Ball comes in and saves them, and that's a logical conclusion. Like no one just takes a nuke to the face. Someone it has to be said done. And I think about it, it also be a jab at Kishimoto at the exact same time because he Yellow Flash just came in there, grabbed them, and warped out. And you have to realize how important this is. I try to look at it as much as I can. How fast does it take for like the atoms in an explosion to like actually connect and then expand again for the explosion to actually happen? Like the time before the atoms touch and explode, and for that moment they push it. That's when that's when the speed of reaction starts, and that's when the explosion actually hits them. And we saw they clearly they pushed it, and John Ball still managed to come in there and actually save them. So that means he moved faster than the explosion. And from what I saw, the explosion happens about, and this explosion, all explosions are pretty much the same. The explosion is about Mach 1000. So that means he's moving at least Mach 1001 faster than an explosion, because he managed to go in there, grab both of them, and warp out of there safely, miles away. And it's like, yeah. And this goes towards Drama's character as well, because like we saw like 20 so chapters ago when he was interrogating Kobe, like when Jacko came in there and he destroyed the entire magic council, and Drama's the only man to survive after seeing like Grand Doma, all the rest of them killed right in front of him, and he goes to Cobra and he like, no joking around. I want to know what's Taurus, what the heck are these guys, and got information. Like he put a dagger to his neck, like I'm not playing no more games anymore. And it's like, damn. And now we're seeing him go back to his role of being like guard, and especially if you watch the Fairy Tail filler. Like the filler in Fairy Tail is amazing. It actually contributes to the main story most of the time, or it shows like fun snippets of their lives in Fairy Tail. It's seamless in the way that it's done. And if you watch the filler, I believe it's called Key of the Starry Arcs or something like that, where Jumbo, after the incident of Terojima, he was disgraced with himself. He left the Magic Council and he became like an alcoholic and a drug, and he was just really off, and he let himself go, like mentally, physically, he was just done. And then he met that young girl who reminded him just like Wendy, and like he tried protecting her and he failed again, but like this time he actually succeeded in doing what in protecting Wendy, like making up for Terojima and making up for incident in the Fairy Tail filler arc. And once the anime comes back in a few days, I'm pretty sure that when they get to this point in the manga, like 30 episodes in, so about another half a year plus, that they're going to do this scene in a way that it goes right back to how the Kid of Star arc was, because that's the great thing about Fairy Tail. They always make filler seem relevant. It's to a point where I'll probably go back and watch that entire Key of Star arc, Key of Star Skies arc there, once it gets done by Funimation, because part 10 of Fairy Tail came out, and that covers about the first 120 episodes, so you're just about to hit the filler. So again, about another half year, about another half year when parts like 11 to 15 come out that cover the rest of Fairy Tail, I'll go and buy those sets and I'll watch it in English, because I'm very interested in listening to the dub fully. I've heard a bit of dub. That's the off point. Now, like I say, this goes back to Drum Mode, and now he's developed, and now he's full of like he's guardian for her, and he's always made sure to the best of his ability that he can protect at least her. And I'm like, yeah, this is a good chapter. And now we can see, like, oh yeah, going back, one last thing I want to cover. And Charlotte, when she was talking about how instead like turn into an explosion and everything, we could just let go off and we could live without magic, and like it could be just like endless. That was a very interesting, like little interesting bit of information she gave. How they could live without magic. Like, that could be a concept that comes back at the end of the series because they were gonna fight Zeph, who's the creator of magic or all dark magic or something. I don't remember exactly how that works out. Like, is he creator of all magic or just dark magic? But still, that could be a concept for the future because they might destroy all magic. I'm calling it right now. At the end of Fairy Tail, there might be no magic left in the entire world. And of course, at that point, when you like, no, if we let the EMP go off right now, everyone loses their magic in the middle of their fights. They're going to die because we went back and we saw how Natsu, he's still struggling with Frogmouth. Urza, she's battling out fully with Kyoka. Sayla is taking on Mira Jade equally somehow. I was like, what? She just throwing books at her, like, wow. And another last detail is that Lisada is about to fight. Like she was just watching the Sayla fight, and like Sayla and Mary J, and all of a sudden that little lab girl who's like a lesbian or something. I remember, no, Kyoko's a lesbian, and she's into the guys and stuff. Like when Ted Pester came out, she was all attracted to him and Jacko. Like he pushed her off. So yeah, she's about to fight against Lisa, and could be her first full-on fight because this little girl, this little lab assistant, she could be a lot stronger than she looks. I could easily see her being a lot stronger because she's the only one out of all the divas at Tara. So we see like a sort of fraction from like, so we have Kyoka, and then her fraction would be like this little lab. I can't for life remember her name, but I'm pretty sure if she becomes relevant, I'll get it out eventually because there's so many characters already. I'm really hoping Lisa gets a full-out fight. She needs it. Out of all of the siblings there, she needs the most help. I mean, at least like Mary Jane, she has a full demon transformation, and going to the filler again. I'm saying, yeah, I know filler. I'm saying it a lot, but the fillers add a lot. She has like another transformation. Like she had that sort of blue armor, and the Grand Magic Games we saw her use another one against Jenny, which might come back in this fight. Now I think about it. Elfman, he's the part that had the full beast transformation, and I always see from these signs these cat outfits and these tiger, these little leopard print outfits, and turn into a bunny, and this like her arms turn into birds. Is like she needs a full transformation. Like she's like her sister's a demon, her brother's a monster. She needs something much bigger. Granted, in a fight against this little girl, unless she's really a monster, she's not gonna need it because she's not like truly up to that level. I see Lisa easily being able to beat her. And I think I've covered everything for these 2 or 3 chapters. This, I think, was actually a full-on review. This is what I would consider an actual review of chapters. And I've gone to King of Lightning time. Well, I hope that these next 2 chapters are going to be just as good as these have been, because somehow Wendy's the one who raised the bar for this entire arc. And now, yeah, she's done for this. She's done for a good while. She's right there next to Laxus and the right Jinshu and Yajima. She's not getting up again. And hopefully we're gonna see more demons fight because oh yeah, Gray. I want to see Gray because he's fighting against that one guy who's like a Logia, and that's gonna be an interesting fight. He knows about his connection to Silver, and I want to know what Silver's doing in the background right now. Like there's so many things to be answered, and of course Master N. They're attacking his skill personally, and yet they're not. Like he hasn't shown up yet. And you saw Jose when they attacked his guild, he was prepared. He was going to war with these guys. But that's for the future chapters. This is my reaction / review. Well, no, full-on review this time. Full review. This has been my review of Fairy Tail's chapter like 376 to 378.